There is an unwritten rule among night shift taxi drivers in Nigeria. If you are driving past a cemetery at exactly 12 midnight and a pregnant woman waves you down, never ask her for money. 3 men met this exact same woman in the dead of the night. 2 of them showed her mercy, and by morning they woke up as multi-billionaires. But the 3rd man, he loved money more than human life. He rejected her, abused her, and threw her into the mud. What happened to him next is a terrifying warning to anyone who thinks they can cheat the spirits of the land. Chinedu was a good man, but life had been incredibly wicked to him. He was a taxi driver who worked 18 hours a day, but his old rusty car kept breaking down. On this particular Tuesday night, Chinedu was driving home in tears. His landlord had locked his wife and 2 hungry children out of their room because he couldn't pay the rent. Chinedu had only 500 naira in his pocket, not even enough to buy bread for his crying children. It was a terrible thunderstorm. The roads were completely empty. As Chinedu drove past the old town cemetery, his flickering headlights caught something standing in the dark. A pregnant woman was standing under the freezing rain, holding her swollen stomach in agony. Every other car had zoomed past her. Nobody wanted to pick up a stranger at midnight near a graveyard. But Chinedu had a pure heart. He remembered his own stranded wife. He immediately slammed his brakes and rolled down the window. "Madam, what are you doing out here in this terrible storm?" Chinedu shouted over the thunder. The woman looked at him with sad, glowing eyes. "Please, my son," she whispered, her voice sounding like the wind. "My baby is coming. I need to get to the hospital across the bridge, but I do not have a single naira to pay you." A greedy man would have driven away, but Chinedu smiled. "Ah, madam, keep your money. Let us save your life and the baby's life first." He drove like a madman to the hospital. When they arrived, Chinedu jumped out and ran inside the emergency ward to call the nurses. But when he rushed back outside with a wheelchair, the back door of his taxi was wide open and the woman had completely vanished. Chinedu was totally confused. How could a heavily pregnant woman disappear in 10 seconds? The only thing left on his back seat was a strange, heavy black stone. Thinking it was just a rock she used to hold her bag, he threw it into his glove compartment and drove back to his homeless family. Chinedu went to sleep a beggar, but he woke up a billionaire. The next morning, a blinding light woke him up. He opened his glove compartment and the black stone was gone. In its place was a massive uncut diamond and thick bundles of foreign currency. Within 1 week, Chinedu bought a massive mansion for his family, bought a fleet of brand new buses and started his own transport company. The poor driver had become a king. Chinedu did not hide his blessing. He called his 2 best friends, Tunde and Obi, and told them the secret. Tunde went to the junction, helped the woman, and also became a billionaire. But Obi was a different kind of human being. Obi was notoriously wicked. If you were dying of thirst on the road, Obi would sell you a drop of water for 1,000,000 naira. When Obi saw his friend's wealth, the greed in his heart burned like a dark fire. "I must get my own gold," Obi declared. For 7 nights, Obi drove to the cemetery junction at midnight, wasting his fuel, aggressively hunting for the pregnant woman. Finally, on the 8th night, amidst a terrible, violent thunderstorm, he saw her. Obi slammed his brakes. He put on a fake, overly sweet smile. "Madam, enter, enter. Let me save your life." The woman slowly entered the back seat. She was shivering. "Thank you, my son," she whispered, her voice sounding like the wind. "But I have no money and I have no bag." A greedy man would have driven away, but Obi smiled greedily, looking at her in the rearview mirror. "Oh, madam, forget money. Just leave that your black stone for me on the seat. I know the secret." The woman stared deeply at him. "What black stone? I have nothing to give you." To test his true heart, the woman suddenly screamed in fake agony, and muddy water from her clothes heavily stained Obi's expensive car seat. That was all it took. Obi's true wicked colors instantly exploded. He slammed on the brakes in the middle of a dark, lonely bush. He turned around, his eyes blazing with anger. "What is wrong with you, you this wretched, useless woman?" Obi roared. "You don't have money, you don't have the stone, and now you are dirtying my car seat?" Without a drop of pity, Obi dragged the pregnant woman out of the car and pushed her violently into the cold mud. "Please, my son," she cried from the mud. "If you leave me in this dark bush, violent animals will kill me and my baby." Obi hissed loudly, spitting on the ground. "Die there. If you don't have money to pay me, then perish." He slammed his door and sped off, leaving the helpless woman in the pitch-black darkness. Obi was furious, thinking his friends had scammed him, but as he drove away, his car suddenly jerked violently and stopped dead in the middle of the road. The headlights flickered and died. All 4 doors locked themselves with a loud click. The temperature inside the car dropped below freezing. Then Obi looked in his rearview mirror. His blood ran cold. The woman was sitting right there in his backseat. She was no longer shivering. Her skin was glowing with a terrifying dark spiritual aura, and her eyes were pure, solid white. Obi began to shake violently, screaming and hitting the locked windows. "Blood of God! Who are you?" The spirit leaned forward. Her voice no longer sounded like a weak woman. It sounded like thunder. "I test the hearts of men. To the kind and merciful, I give the wealth of the earth. But to the wicked, the greedy, and the cruel, I take away everything they use to boast." Obi woke up the next morning lying face down inside a filthy garbage dump. He quickly tried to stand up to look for his car, but as he tried to push himself up, a sharp, agonizing pain shot through his arms. His hands, the same hands he used to violently push a pregnant woman into the mud, were completely paralyzed and twisted. When he looked to his right, he let out a loud, agonizing scream. His beloved taxi was crushed completely flat by a massive fallen tree, and in the distance, he could see thick black smoke rising from where his house used to be. The fire had taken everything. Within 24 hours, Obi, the greedy taxi driver, was reduced to a wretched, paralyzed beggar. When Chinedu and Tunde heard what happened, they wanted to help their friend, but the spirit appeared to them in a dream with a strict warning. "If you give Obi a single naira of the wealth I gave you, you will share his curse forever." Out of fear, the 2 billionaires had no choice but to abandon him. Obi was left to rot on the streets, watching his friends he once envied rule the world. My people, they say character is like smoke. No matter how you cover it, it will eventually come out. Obi's greed blinded him
to the greatest test of his life. Now, let me ask you, if you were driving on a lonely road at midnight and a pregnant stranger without a single naira begged you for a ride, honestly, would you stop and help her, or would you zoom off? Tell me the absolute truth in the comments below. If this story touched you, please hit the like button, share this video to teach someone a lesson, and subscribe for more thrilling African stories. See you in the next one.